How many bog hermits does it take to screw a light bulb? 1. We're going to be doing a challenge here where I test out how many bog hermits it takes to beat various levels of Kingdom Rush Alliance. Now, I've kind of neglected this game compared to the original trilogy just because the all towers and chaos mode mods have continued to capture my attention again and again and again when I haven't even experienced the rest of Revengeance or King Rexy's mods that he's made for Vengeance, let alone just the vanilla content of Alliance. It's time to take this game a little bit more seriously, and to do that, I want to start doing some minimum tower challenges. So in order to do that, first we're going to need to pick the best heroes out there. So I'm going to pick Therian and Boneheart. I'm actually going to swap the two of them because I imagine I'm going to need to micro Therian more. So I'd rather have her be on the 4 hotkey and Boneheart be on the 5 hotkey. And like I said, we're going to be maximizing the utility of the Bog Hermit. In fact, I'm going to put him here so that way we can focus on building him every single time. So the first stage that I think would be interesting to test this out in is actually going to be Deepleaf Outpost, because we actually already had a challenge set by Ironhide to beat this with as much gold remaining as possible, and it was done with a single tower. So I want to see how close the Bog Hermit gets to being able to meet the same record. So let's load on in here, and look at that. We load into a level and there's no cutscene at the start to introduce us to Eridan or anything like that. We can just get started and the player is trusted to observe that, you know, Eridan's here. We're smart enough to realize that this guy's probably going to do something, and then we can observe what he does in game without needing it introduced to us via some sort of cutscene. But anyways, let's not get too caught up on ranting here. I believe that this was the spot that was used for the other like towers in this challenge. So I'm just going to focus on testing out the experience of using this tower and these heroes in the same spot as before. I'm not really thinking too much about the strategy until I see its performance, and then we can take some L's and then realize what needs to be changed in order to take some W's. So let's get started here. I also have the Shadow Archer reinforcements here. I believe they're going to be the preferable ones in this challenge because I have my own melee reinforcements just via Boneheart. Actually, now that I think about it, it probably would be better to let these enemies come over to the Bog Hermit just so we can see it in practice here. So let's have it use its AoE. And it seems to be only hitting one enemy at a time, and now it's hitting 2 at a time. And look at that range. It deals 50 to 65 damage. So even with just 2 targets, it's dealing 100 to 130 damage. And then when we change it to this mode, it's dealing 52 to 70 damage. So pretty much the same numbers, but clearly it's attacking a lot faster. We'll let this next wave come in here. I'm not trying to maximize the gold just yet. If it ends up performing so well that we can then afford to do such a thing, then we'll look into that. But let's see here. I believe because he needs to turn around, yeah, that actually causes his attack speed to be slowed a little bit. That's quite interesting. So he has a bit of a weakness there when enemies are on the left side of him instead of the right side of him. So we have to be quite careful with not letting him turn too often, because that's going to decrease his DPS. Now let's see if he has that same trait while he's in the other mode. Okay, so his attack rate is pretty slow. Okay, yeah, it seems that turning decreases his attack rate even further under these conditions. Good job, Eridan. And let's see, can he... Okay, good. He can insta-kill an enemy even while it's trapped inside of the invincibility fog. That's always good to see stuff bypassing enemy abilities. We've got hacks to counter your hacks. Alright, we'll come over here and look at that. He's doing a great job so far. I'm quite happy with his performance. Now, I'm going to use the slowing effect right now, just so that way I can get the hero spell back up a little bit later. Kind of unfortunate, though, that we have waves like this, where it's just all flying enemies and only flying enemies, because it's, in my opinion, more interesting wave design to get multiple things at once You saw that way more often in the other Kingdom Rush games, I feel. Even Vengeance levels, I think, did a pretty nice job at that sometimes, at least. Other times not so much, but probably better than Alliance still. Alright, let's get Boneheart to do his big ol' slammer slam. And just like that, Boneheart is fundamentally OP yet again in a Kingdom Rush game. Go figure. Oh, okay, these towers are not doing a good job at aiming over here. Look at that, now we have that gradual damage, so it's gonna make this even more powerful. Also gonna make Boneheart's big ol' ability even more powerful too. Basically a hero spell on the hero. Alright, let's deal with this. And we'll do the following. If he tries to attack Therian, I'll just micro hurt. Oh, okay. Nope. None of that. No. What is that melee aggro range? Alright, and I have not been paying attention to Boneheart. Okay, good. Attack him. For realsies. Nice. Soften him up just a little bit. And then I'm not really too concerned about that, to be honest. Like I said, we're just going to see how far we can get here. Although, I should be microing this tower. I'm focused on microing the heroes at the moment, when that's like the last thing I should be worried about. Ooh, that's satisfying though. Okay, yeah, go ahead, do your worst, do your worst. We'll just see how tanky these enemies can become. And yeah, go ahead, be OP Boneheart. Yeah, this is more of a Boneheart showcase at this point. Yeah, maybe we should get this. Here we go, yeah, go ahead and slam. Come on and slam. We'll do this too. I'm kind of holding on to these abilities at the moment, just seeing what the power level is, because obviously if the abilities aren't going to do the trick at this stage of the level, then it's going to be even worse later on, right? Okay, good slam there. Let's see. Yeah, we get a good optimal insta-kill against these tanky enemies. Or, well, against the tankiest enemy here. And then that guy had under 300 health, so I believe that's the reason why we were able to get him there. And then here, we'll just move you back. You should be able to whittle him down. Oh my goodness. Okay, we have anti-synergy there. Oh yeah, that was as wasteful as possible. And I believe Therian has a significant bug here, where as the stage progresses, she becomes increasingly slow in her movement speed, and the amount of distance that she needs in order to trigger her teleportation grows as well, which is one of the strangest bugs of all time. Wow, we still managed to maintain that. That's pretty good. Okay, let's just do this because, yeah, these guys are a little bit further ahead in the path than he is. So we're gonna need that. Yeah, it seems like you can fall behind on this, but you have Boneheart to take care of it, so honestly, I'm not even worried. He's Boneheart. This is a Boneheart showcase. Wow, yeah, look at the synergy between this thing and Boneheart's damage. Or his passive, I should say. And then here, let's let this happen. And wow. Oh, okay, you know what? I shouldn't have done that at that exact moment. But here, we'll have Therian do the things. And I don't know how much firepower we're gonna need here. Okay, all the firepower apparently. Okay, Bog Hermit. No. I gave you an order, I gave you a direct order. And let's see, does he take any damage from that? Nope. We'll do that. And then I was almost tempted to move Therian just so that way these abilities can be used more optimally. And let's see, yeah, that will get wasted. Well, not really wasted. As long as it's helping, right? And yeah, there we go. I believe I should be focusing on this stuff right at the moment. But wow, we've wave 13 and we're still going strong. Alliance is a balanced game. And then yeah, we'll just keep on slowing these guys for now. And wow, we got both cooldowns back in time. That's pretty nice. And yeah, we'll just keep on stalling them. We'll trigger this one first. And then let's see, can we get some Boneheart abilities here? Okay, bad timing for that to trigger. Whatever, I guess. No, don't go into melee combat. So far, so good though on a 1 tower challenge. Is this level just overly easy, perhaps? Okay, well, we didn't get any value out of that, so oh well. What the? One of his projectiles just went straight onto Therian. Interesting aim there. Boneheart. Bunny boy. Oh, and then I've made another mistake. I did not have this mode on when this is far more optimal. Okay, range moment. Not really sure what's going on there. Okay, Boneheart is having a dragon moment, so let's just make sure he can attack here. And here, I'll just call the wave instantly. Yeah, that seems to be doing fine already. At holding them off at least, but we're probably gonna break here. Yeah, you kinda need to be on top of things, so if I knew what I was doing, this would go a lot better. I'll just let those guys pass. Sometimes you just gotta take the losses. And, oh, ew, what kind of bug is that? How did that even happen? Like, how did Therian end up with a bug like that? With their teleportation? Weird. And then we'll do this. That just that just spreads plague all over the place. So in theory, this is even stronger than what's it called? Plague carriers? Although I kind of doubt that, to be honest. Yeah, I think it is over here, but that's also just on me for not remembering to micro the Bog Hermit. I'm a lot more relaxed in these types of challenges. So okay, that's good to know. We can change this up. Now I actually think that there's some merit to putting the Bog Hermit in this spot instead. Maybe I'm crazy for thinking that. Maybe I'm maybe I'm smoking whatever the Bog Hermit himself is smoking. But I feel like being able to hold the enemies at the exit is more important here. Even though I've pointed out that Alliance's meta is oftentimes to do the opposite. I think that in a challenge where you're min-maxing like this, you don't have such a luxury. Maybe I'll be proven wrong and it turns out that we actually need it to hold up the front. But let's see here how this ends up going instead. Yeah, we'll just let these guys pass, even though they're not all grouped up together anymore. Okay, nice targeting, Therian. Okay, for a moment. Do they die to the plague damage over time? No, they do not. These are other stats that are not listed anywhere in the game. I would just literally have to read the code to find out this information. Or, you know, maybe the wiki has it, but I would not bet on it. I've just grown accustomed to not being able to trust the wiki anyways, because you can look at like DPS calculations for towers as old as like the Kingdom Rush 1 towers, and they're wrong. Like, you can look into the game code yourself and see what the numbers are, and they give you a different result than what the wiki says. So I can't trust anything anymore. The wiki, my beloved. You betrayed me. Okay, now I knew that Therian was going to do that, so I can preemptively block these guys without worrying about the ability being wasted. Anyways, though, let me go back to analyzing this. So, every single tier of this ability reduces the cooldown of it, and then it increases the effectiveness of all the other things. Alright, let's stall this guy right now. And then we'll move Therian back because heroes can bypass enemy resistances partially. The other thing to note is a 14.4 second cooldown, which is really crazy to me. It basically just takes away some of the utility of the Arcane Wizard. So this tower, it almost reminds me of the Dwarf. Not because of the full like coverage of its range with its AoE. Oops, okay, I misclicked there. But because of the fact that you get an artillery with an insta-kill, which is normally pretty incongruous, but I think it works. I think it works here. Okay, Boneheart is throwing. Let's use this, and then, okay, well, we just wasted that. Like, for the purposes of recharging the skill, but I'm not too fussed. Now we swap back to this, because we're facing ground enemies again. Pretty binary decision, I would say. Just considering the way it's worked in practice thus far. Wow. And then, yep, just finish off all of them. Here, do that. And then, here, let's use this now. And then we can focus on letting Therion's clone actually deal some damage before it gets one-shotted by the enemy abilities. And then at least we can trigger this that way. And then we need Boneheart to do this. And I could really use an ability here. Yeah, like that. Okay, let me not throw here too hard. Okay, good. They're all dead. Me at the orphanage. And then we'll bring you guys here. Yeah, Boneheart, do your slam right away. The more damage, the merrier. Also, the more units, the merrier. So I need that guy to keep on spawning stuff. And I think we're still screwed either way. We're gonna win, though, actually. Here, in fact, you know what? I don't even need to care. Oh my gosh. Okay, once again, the AI is being as dumb as possible. That's so sad to see. Okay, at least her melee range is not so bad. Oh yeah, spawn the fire on top of him. Get wrecked. And Eridan gets the finishing kill and a crit. What the heck? Okay, so I guess Eridan is also a hero and he can crit. I'm wondering if I disable the star upgrade on that. Then he can't land the crit. I'm obviously not going to leave that as the only test for the Bog Hermit, but I do want to say that the artillery splash that it has is really, really good. It's just the default mode that you probably ought to have it on, unless there's something really specific like flying enemies, which by Alliance standards are not very specific. That's very common, so there is a use for the other mode, but it's sort of like you're trading the effectiveness of its artillery mode just to be able to hit up. But in general, when you can hit the enemy with either attack, you pretty much always want it to be on the slow mode. Like, unless the enemy's being blocked and it's a single one, I don't see much use for the magic attack here. The DPS doesn't seem to be worth it compared to the effectiveness of the slow, because if the enemy's just walking in its range, you're going to end up getting more total attacks because you're slowing it in the range of the Bog Hermit. And plus it has more range to begin with. As for other stuff, Sticky Tongue, insanely efficient insta-kill there. 14.4 seconds on an insta-kill is so good. It's still outclassed by Sting Missiles that has a 12.8 second cooldown. I need to see if the Bog Hermit insta-kill, though, has any sort of limitations, because as far as I could see, it was insta-killing those armored guys with max HP. So it didn't even matter. So yeah, this is really good. And I didn't showcase it here, but the ability also triggers outside of the range of the magic mode. It follows the maximum range that the Bog Hermit can possibly have. So even if you're in magic mode, it will use the artillery mode range. And when you're in artillery mode, it will still use the artillery mode range. So this ability can't really be microed. You can't reduce the range of the ability in order to force it to hit like a specific target, which I could see being quite useful for the tower, but at the moment it doesn't work that way. And then this ability, yeah, look at that, 35 seconds, all the way down to 20 with star upgrades plus max upgrades on the tiers of the skill. So this thing not nearly as appealing as Sticky Tongue. I think Sticky Tongue carries the tower, plus the utility of being able to get an artillery without feeling bad, like you would with the Tri-Cannon, because it's just sitting there not hitting up. This one, you can change it to start hitting up so that we don't feel bad about having gotten an artillery in Alliance. And then this just adds on to the artillery aspect of it, but I would say that it's not nearly as iconic as the Sticky Tongue is. And then the other thing to keep note is the mechanic where it turns, and so it can't attack for a little bit, so just slow down the attack speed, which applies to both of them. Even though it could still be just cooling down the skill during its turn, it doesn't seem to count towards the cooldown during its turn animation. So that's a bit of an L on the tower, but who really cares about lost efficiency if the remaining efficiency is still really high? Case in point, Bombardment. So overall, I'd say this is a pretty good tower in Alliance. Wow, it's incredible. All I had to do was stop talking at the same time that I was playing, and suddenly I was able to easily do this with no lives lost. Okay, that's quite embarrassing, at least for me, because I didn't know that I was that bad at multitasking, at least this kind of multitasking. So, yeah, turns out that the Bog Hermit is yet another tower that can be used to beat this one tower only. Pretty crazy, but if you look at the wave composition, it makes a lot of sense. There's at most 2 lanes spawning enemies at once until like wave 15 when you have all 3 spawning something. But you have enough gold that you can have like theoretically a Tri-Cannon in every single lane and utterly trivialize this stage here. So I'm not too surprised that this is possible now that I've actually just played it properly. So yeah, that just goes to show you how bad I am at video games when I'm trying to talk at the same time. But yeah, I believe that should be a pretty decent showcase of the Bog Hermit there. We got to see just how like useful it could be if you do play to its strengths. I haven't tested out its synergies with other towers though, by doing a min-tower challenge like this. So I think the next thing that I want to do while testing it is seeing if I can do a no heroes run of a level. Probably not the same one because I've already gotten used to it. So maybe I'll try doing one where the heroes aren't too significant anyways, like Sunken Ruins, because there's not that much room for them to move around. Should make Paladins shine a lot there too, because I need something to stall the Hydras. But yeah, the main difference here was that I just stopped multitasking, and I also started using the other types of reinforcements. That made a big difference. And I also used the Bog Hermit more to the right. That way we could spawn kill certain enemies like the Spectres before they could activate on the like special towers for the Wardens. That way we got less of those guys that we need to insta-kill. I also prevented more enemies from getting into range of our arcane like teleporters and the fire circle, just because the Bog Hermit was hitting enemies sooner, so they weren't getting in range of that. So those 2 optimizations, well, I guess 3 optimizations, made a big difference for the victory there. So yeah, I hope that helps me beat the skill issue allegations, and I hope that it is an informative showcase of the tower here. The Hawktua Tower, the Bogtua Tower, has its merits, and I think it's pretty fun. So if you're on mobile and you feel like getting an additional tower, this wouldn't be a bad choice. Just note that, in my opinion, all of the free towers that you can start with are better, or at least like have a claim at being better. Blissed Outpost, probably still not better than Bog Hermit, but it's close there. In any case, these are all free towers, so you can beat the game just fine without this. As always, these games are not pay to win, so any premium content that you buy is just making a doable game even easier. Except in this case, where I would say that it's actually less doable with Bog Hermits than it is with some of the other towers. but whatever. At least I was able to do this minimum tower challenge on the stage. So yeah, I hope everybody has a good day, and let me know if you find this kind of video entertaining at all, because like I said, the live commentary is sort of a nerf to me. So if I shouldn't even bother with live commentary while playing these games, then that's all the more power to me in terms of actually making an effective test out of these. Alright, see you guys.